He's a really good horse, exceptionally good looking, and fast.
Lord Nelson is just a picture type. He's got a beautiful neck and shoulder. He's got a nice hip. He's really strong.
Extremely fast. He's very well balanced. This horse is just an incredible fighter. He's mentally tough. His constitution is just iron. He's as tough, I think, as they make horses.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo. We've got split divisions of 2-year-old filly maiden special weights at Keeneland on Thursday. So let's throw up the field for race number 1. It's an overflow field, obviously, going 4.5 furlong. $60,000 is the purse, and Spendthrift is represented by their stallion Temple City, who has the number 12 Temple City Charm. Wesley Ward, the 2-year-old guru trainer at Keeneland, very well represented by the 1 Chelsea Cloisters, the 6 Montana Sunset, and Ward always tough to beat.
Yeah, very much so. And, we'll get into some of these pedigrees in a minute. I do think both of his horses in this spot here are very ideally bred for early 2-year-old success.
We'll begin with a Wesley Ward trained firster down towards the inside. That's the number 1 Chelsea Cloisters, who sold for $125,000 as a yearling. She is a half-sister to a stakes-winning dirt sprinter, and the dam also won sprinting, so there should be a lot of speed in this pedigree, and as a Ward firster, I would expect her to show some gas.
Oh, definitely bred for a lot of speed, a lot of juvenile ability. Sire First Samurai was a very good 2-year-old himself. He's the sire of some nice early runners, including Executive Privilege, who was a Grade 1 winner against none other than Beholder and her 2-year-old season. The dam, as you mentioned, also showed some speed and early ability. Chelsea Cloisters didn't just sell for $125 as a yearling. She did so at the July sale, the early yearling sale. Being a 6-figure yearling there indicates to me that this is an early developer. She's got a steady work pattern with some nice moves, and I'm sure that this one's going to be ready to fire first out from that rail.
The number 2 is The Lady Is Enough. This is the first starter by He's Had Enough. You'll notice by our pedigree card that there is a lot of sprint and precocity on the bottom of this family. The dam, a juvenile debut winner. The second dam, a stakes-winning sprinter with a 91 Beyer top. What can you tell us about He's Had Enough?
Well, He's Had Enough. I think there's a lot that points to him being a good 2-year-old sire. The son of Tapit was a very close second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Champion Shanghai Bobby. He found a home at stud in Florida. And down in Florida, which is kind of the epicenter of the 2-year-old sales market in North America and his 2-year-old racing program itself, they really value speed, stallions that can throw precocity. And the fact that He's Had Enough has bred sizable books of mares in Florida indicates to me that the bloodstock community thinks that this will be a solid 2-year-old sire.
The number 3 is Laser Lynn. This is a daughter of Wilburn that sold for only $1,000 as a yearling, but she is a half-sister to a Grade 3 stakes-placed router named Put the Blame on Me. The dam won it too, but she also did her best running going long, and I wonder if this filly might need experience and more distance.
She might. There is some 2-year-old ability on the page. Wilburn was a very well-regarded horse as a young horse, but then blossomed later in races like the Indiana Derby, as you'd expect from the son of Bernardini from the AP&D line. Roman Ruler, the broodmare sire, also did his best work at 3 and going longer. So yeah, maybe not such an obvious pedigree.
Formulator fact for this barn: over the past 5 years, with 2-year-old first-time starters in maiden special weight dirt sprints, it's not a good number. 0 for 42. Perhaps this barn needs a race or two to get their horses into true winning shape. The number 4 is Zodiac Princess. And Nicole, I look at this pedigree and I think this filly probably is bred to run about 8.5 miles on the turf. Unfortunately, she's getting 4.5 on the dirt on Thursday.
Yeah, very much so. This one I'm going to be very excited to see going long by a Breeders' Cup Turf winner in Red Rock, son of the outstanding Galileo. Broodmare sire English Channel also was a champion who won the Breeders' Cup Turf. So yeah, just kind of an outstanding long-winded turf pedigree. Fortunately for her in the future, unfortunately for her in this spot.
Formulator fact for the trainer, Richard Martinez, over the past 4 years, very limited opportunities, only 1 for 32, a 46-cent return on investment. I agree with Nicole. Let's wait for turf and distance, perhaps in the summer and fall. The number 5 is Out Till Dawn. Out Till Dawn's by Runaway and Hyde, who does well with 2-year-old debut runners. And this dam was multiple stakes placed at a mile on the dirt. This is a really solid family of the Grade 1 stakes winning sprinter, Captain Squire. Trainer Ben Colebrook does good work. This might be a sleeper.
Yeah, very much might be a sleeper. This is a horse that I'm especially going to take a look at underneath in the exotics. I think my only knock on her is that she's got a lighter work tab, only 2 works, compared to some of these others in here. Might need, a race to kind of get herself really racing fit. But I do love the sire, Runaway and Hyde. Did so well with his 2-year-olds last year, a number of stakes horses with kind of a limited sample compared to the book sizes of some other leading 2-year-old sires. 12-1 on the morning line might be a little bit of a sleeper, especially underneath.
The number 6 is an intriguing Wesley Ward trainee. This is a Washington-bred daughter of Smiling Tiger who hasn't done very well. From a short sample of 2-year-old debut runners, only 1 for 31, but the dam was a stakes-winning sprinter. She had a 95 Beyer speed figure, and Montana Sunset's a half to 6 stakes horses, including Washington State champion Marva Jean. And we urge everybody to consider purchasing the great Clocker report that DRF.com puts out. They really like this horse's workout on April the 4th. Montana Sunset 4-1 on the morning line for Ward. Something tells me she'll take some money and she might be quick.
Yeah, definitely. I do think, again, looking at the work tab, I think Wesley Ward's other horse we discussed breaking down toward the inside might be just a little bit quicker out of the gate, especially with kind of the longer, more steady work tab compared to this one. I do think Sire's Smiling Tiger is going to find his footing with some 2-year-olds. Smiling Tiger, a sibling to 2-year-old champion She's a Tiger, a very, very fast horse in his own right. I do think he's going to start to find his life a little bit.
The number 7 is L Factor, and L Factor is going to be for horse players that really prefer experience because she already has a race 13 days prior. And she broke well, chased the 2 favorites throughout. It was a good, solid effort. She took money that day for John Hancock, who has had success with 2-year-olds at Keeneland. I just wonder if this filly was really cranked up to win first time out. When you break down some of Hancock's formulator stats, the first out numbers are good, the second out numbers regress a little bit, and I wonder if L Factor could be susceptible to somewhat of a bounce.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think they had this filly by the Factor, whose first crops have been well regarded, primed to go. You saw that with Jose Ortiz on her first out. I do like that Ortiz is remaining aboard here, but I think she does have the potential to regress a little bit.
The 8 is Elfie. This is a daughter of Field Commission, 2 for 20 with 2-year-old debut runner. Some class in this pedigree. The Third Dam Harbor Club was a real hard hitter back in the day, a $4,500 yearling purchase, but we haven't seen a published workout in the last 16 days.
No, which is intriguing to me. Without knowing much about this horse specifically, I will say that we have had some troublesome weather in Kentucky. Snow deep into the month of April that has impacted training patterns for some locally based horses. That being said, Keeneland does have a synthetic track right here that a lot of people make use of for circumstances like this. So it is really interesting, although her last work was very, very solid at 4 furlongs. Here's a formulator fact for the 8, Wealthy. We pick on poor Wayne Rice. He's going to win one of these days. Past 4 years, 2-year-olds on dirt, 3% winners, a 14-cent return on investment. I think the 9, Wozy, is very interesting. I picked her in a previous Keeneland baby race, and she was taking some money, and then she kind of threw a fit once she walked out onto the track, and she had to be vet scratched. But she is by Munnings, a precocious stallion who wins 15% with his 2-year-old debut runners. Wozy, the bottom half of the pedigree, maybe kind of turfy and rowdy, but I like the works I see from Wozy, and she was taking some money before she threw a fit. She just has to mind her manners for Joe Sharp. Yeah, very much so. And, I do think that perhaps with that experience, even though it ended negatively, I do think that, she might be able to keep it together this time. She has come over now in the afternoon. She's seen what things look like on race day. Maybe it'll be a little bit less of a shock to this young horse. And I do believe that the Sharp Barn, which came into Keeneland ready for Bear, has brought her over and schooled her in the ensuing week as well.
The number 10, Armony's Angel, sold for $20,000 as a yearling, but got a big page upgrade when Conquest Big E won a graded stakes race at Gulfstream a couple of months ago. This sire, to honor and serve, 10% winners with 2-year-old debut runners. And this dam was quick. She won her debut at 2. A lot of folks don't think of Kenny McPeak as a first-out trainer, but he has had some success at Keeneland over the years.
Yeah, Kenny McPeak has had some nice 2-year-olds over the years, even, if they kind of continued to bloom and did their better running later. This one bred on a similar cross to Conquest Big E from that very quick dam, like you mentioned. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is only seeing one published work on there, and that one not that fast, but McPeak does put a great foundation into his horses. A
lot of eyes are going to be on the number 11, Seeking a Star, a daughter of Pioneer of the Nile, who sold for $800,000 as a Keeneland yearling. And when you look at this pedigree, you understand why. The dam, a half-sister to Grade 1 stakes winners and millionaires, the Swift Paula Silver Lining, and the 2-time Carter Handicap winner, Dad's Caps.
Yeah, definitely. I think with Pioneer of the Nile on top, this one might be bred to go a little bit longer. And, the Cassie Barn does usually like to give these horses, a race or two to kind of work themselves into shape. That being said, this one a half to such good, such fast horses. I like that she posted a couple of works at Keeneland instead of shipping up right on top of the race from their winter base. I think there's a lot to like here. I think this is one we're going to have to watch the board on a little bit.
Our clockers wrote some good things about her most recent gate drill. Florent Giroux takes the mount for the Cassie Barn. The 12 Temple City Charm is by Spendthrift stallion Temple City. Only 5% winners with 2-year-old debut runners, but Temple City's had some stalwart turf horses like Miss Temple City. And when you look at this pedigree, the dam, a 98 Beyer top on the turf. She herself, a half-sister to Dedine, a graded stakes winner on the turf. I'm just waiting for Temple City Charm to get an opportunity to stretch her legs around 2 turns on the grass before I'm willing to play her.
Well, absolutely. And, we've mentioned a few times on this series already that at this time of year, some of these trainers are just looking to give their horses experience in the races that are available to them at the time. At this time, those are dirt sprints. We won't see turf racing for 2-year-olds till a little bit later in the season. So a lot of horses here that we're going to want to kind of watch them get that experience and circle moving on.
We kick off a 50-cent minimum pick 5, opening the Keeneland card on Thursday. Who's your top pick, Nicole? Who would you use in the pick 5?
Well, gosh, I really, especially in terms of those multi-race wagers, I just can't look past Chelsea Cloisters for Wesley Ward. This one from a good, precocious pedigree and from her work pattern, the way that she's been training, I just think she's going to be ready to fire away from the inside there and just keep on running. Underneath, I'll probably take a good look at Out Till Dawn, who we mentioned from the Ben Colbrook barn. At Seeking a Star from the Cassie Barn, and Wozy. Watch her pre-race behavior. It would be difficult to use her in multi-race wagers without, kind of doing that paddock handicapping. But I'm going to be really interested to see what she does here, because I still think she's a nice filly, as we've discussed.
Like you, I prefer Chelsea Cloisters down towards the inside for Wesley Ward, a daughter of First Samurai. My top 4 picks from an individual race standpoint would be 1, 7, 9, and 10. But I think in the pick 5, I would use Chelsea Cloisters, I would use Wozy, and maybe I would use horses like L Factor and Armony's Angel underneath in single race exotics. This is just race number 1 at Keeneland on Thursday. We've got the whole second division coming up, race number 4, and we'll be back with you with Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift, for that race in a minute.